Emily Bollon, she's your lady. And so I thought, oh, wow, this might actually happen. So we had, I think, 8 missed calls or something where we kept missing each other. And then eventually it took us through quite until about April. And on a boiling hot day, Emily got on her bicycle and she cycled all the way across Guildford. And we were both just like, whoa, this is so exciting. And so it started to happen. I was trying to do quite a lot of other things at the time. And so the wonderful, wonderful late Dermot Fishoyle, who was my wonderful colleague, said, I'll help. And so together, the three of us created the Merrow Community Gospel Choir. Sorry, that's a long answer, but very exciting.
That's amazing. And
I remembered that when I first met you, I loved your glasses. You had like colored glasses.
They're upstairs.
And wasn't there like a wasp's nest or something in the tree? And then,
yes.
Yeah, it was so random.
Yeah, we had a swarm. We'd had a swarm and we were waiting for the beekeeper to come and take it away. Yes. I'd forgotten that. Yes.
Crazy. It's so amazing though, because from obviously what you had experienced when you were younger, and then coming back to England and taking on this role, and then kind of that leading to then you meeting Emily and starting this choir, that's so wonderful to see that thread through there, and you obviously being that common denominator of bringing people together, and then Em, who also is amazing at bringing people together. It's just incredible.
Yeah,
it's so lovely.
That's awesome. Right, okay, so we launched in September 2018, so nearly over 2 years ago now. Crazy. We launched then. We had some choir taster sessions, and some of the members from other MbM choirs came along to kind of boost that. Annie, where do you fit in? When did you first join the choir, and what made you come along?
At the beginning, I saw an advert in Merrow Pages. Having never been in a choir, I decided to go and see what it was like. No commitment necessary, with free taster sessions. Sounded good to me. The latter half of 2018 was a tough time for me. I loved my job and gave 100%. Sadly, my mother spent 6 out of 7 months in hospital after 2 strokes. So whilst trying to process this emotionally and supporting my father living as a single man after nearly 58 years, and my dog became critically ill. Choir was my saving grace and sanity for 1 hour every week. Oh. I could switch off and have me time. It was so special. But not only that, but Emily, you've got to remember, I've never been in a choir. Emily made singing such fun. Laughing is the best therapy going. It's truly empowering and uplifting. There's no other way to describe it. No way was she going to get rid of me. Yeah. I loved choir. And we're a real community in Merrow. And I've made lovely new friendships as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. And Annie, you used to say that you would, leave rehearsals singing away, and you would sing to some members of the public, or you'd go and visit parents singing. Tell us a bit about that.
On a Monday, it was my long day, so I'd go straight from work to choir and then to visit mum. So en route, I'd pop into the local garage. Well, I was wearing my lovely Merrow Gospel t-shirt. So they knew what this crazy woman had been up to when she walked around singing, Sweet Chariot or Go Down Moses or whatever, walking around the garage. We didn't have social distancing because we didn't have a little friend coronavirus at that time. And I did get some strange looks. And but it was wonderful because I used to go into mum's nursing home, and singing is the best therapy. And there was one lady especially who had really bad dementia. When I walked in, she used to say, "Dance, honey, dance." So I danced with her when I went in, singing whatever song I'd been singing. And the carers, the staff were amazing. And it was wonderful. I'd go into mum and stand at the end of the bed and she loved my T-shirt. And she'd say, "Nice, lovely." And, you know, I'd sing whatever song we'd been singing. If it was like the winter time and she was in bed, or I'd take her on the patio. So, but yes, it was just very special.
And I love that, because it's Annie always says, you know, choir was something that is something that she really values and needs for her own kind of time to process things and let go and whatever. But actually the impact that choir then has on Annie then takes out into the world around her. So if you're a local to Merrow and you've ever come across this lady in her blue T-shirt singing away, this is her, this is Annie. So there we go. So thank you, Annie, you're such a joy.
That's so wonderful. It's just amazing how something that could obviously have been quite a could have had quite a detrimental effect on your life could then, you know, coming to choir then became your source, like almost like your sanctuary, but then you could also uplift other people. Even though you were having to process your own things, it was kind of taking off that edge, I suppose, and there might have been other people out there who were really struggling, but you were able to lift them up, and that's just incredible, Annie. That's so amazing. So only after 3 months of actually existing as a choir, you put on a Christmas concert. Merrow put on their very own Christmas concert, which was quite an accomplishment. So how did that go, Rona? How did you find it straight after, you know, just launching a new choir?
We just couldn't believe that we would be able to do it. And yet we did. And we did it with bells and whistles on. It was just absolutely amazing. It was really, really sad because Dermot was very poorly by this stage. And he initially was definitely going to be there. And then he couldn't be, and so we managed to Zoom him. I mean, gosh, this was pre-Zoom, before we'd even thought of Zoom, but so he was actually kind of live streamed in, and sometimes there'd be a little silence and you could just hear this little voice going, "Oh, that was marvelous."
I love it.
It was just great, and it was just the noise that we made was so beautiful, and the friendships there, you know, looking at these people that I didn't know before, and that I just loved it. So it was very, very special. But the hall was, I think we put 60 chairs out, and we ended up having, I think, 200 people or 180 people.
It was mad. It was so full. I was like, where do I stand? Because the choir was massive as well. We were taking up loads of space. All of this audience, I kept being like, where are they gonna go? And then I was like, I don't know where to go. But it was so lovely because I was so close. I had Dermot on the tablet or whatever he was on, so close behind me that I could hear Dermot singing along with the choir. Which is every now and then I turn around and give him like thumbs up, and he's like, yeah. Like it was a real magical performance. Yeah, absolutely. Annie, do you remember that performance that Christmas?
Oh, how can I forget it? One of the things before we started, when we sort of realised that it wasn't more just 60 people, it was more, was, do you remember, Rona, when we started raising Emily up? Because, you know, like me, she's not overly tall. So she had to be raised up, and they were going around the church seeing what they could find to sort of raise her up. And some people were saying, oh, it's not safe, that, and it's not safe. And eventually we got her raised up. But yes, I think Rona used the right word, amazing. I don't think my dad could have clapped any harder or any longer if he tried.
Oh.
We were still in our infancy. But, you know, Emily achieved so much with us as a choir in that 3 months, in the way she taught and inspired us. I just will never forget that concert. And I think the support of the church and the local community was just incredible. We were truly Merrow Community Gospel Choir.
Yeah.
But Emily did say afterwards to us, the best is yet to come, which is a song actually. And that she was right, you know, we continued to grow and flourish in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I can also say, I think the thing about the community for that was that what we were doing was something that was so completely different from, you know, you either come to a religious service, you're a member of a religious church, you know, a church or a denomination, or you're not. And actually what we said was, no, this merges. This is about good news, and we're singing it, and we're living it, and you don't have to be frightened. We're not going to sign you onto rotas. We're not going to ask you whether you believe. We're just going to say, come and see what happens when people live their faith and sing their faith. And people thought, actually, church is okay. And we got lots of new members, didn't we, from that concert?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
and I
that's
love
also, sorry, I was going to say that's also really our heart for this, for obviously for the virtual Christmas concert, is obviously there's aspects, you know, we're singing carols, they are about Jesus being born, but at the same time, it's not exclusive. We are an inclusive community, and we want to bring people together, especially in a year that's basically meant that nobody could really see their loved ones or their friends, and we want to use this opportunity to really bring people together and celebrate that in itself, which is amazing. And yeah, like you say, to put an expectation of only 60 people and end up having, you know, nearly 200 is, I mean, it's unreal. That's amazing. If we could do that for this virtual concert, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful, love it, absolutely love it. So after that, 3 months in, we were absolute superstars, you know, performing to the local community, you know, getting everyone up, singing along, absolutely fantastic. So we've done other performances, right, since then, as a choir, a real variety of different things. So Rona, tell us what's the kind of standout performance for you that we've done with Merrow Community Gospel Choir?
Well, I don't wish to put a downer, but I would say that it was at Dermot's funeral, for me, which is, I will never ever forget it, apart from the fact it was such a beautiful funeral and it was so perfect for him. He was so proud of us and so proud of what he felt that the three of us had achieved by having it. And we sang so well, and it was so uplifting, and the message was about, you know, on the other side, and you know, about him, you know, with this chariot swinging down and lifting him up, and that was so much Dermot. You know, he would have been like boogieing over to the other side. And so I felt really proud of the beautiful sound that we made, but much more proud about what we were doing as a community for one of our own, and also what we were doing for our faith. So I think it was a profound moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Annie? Standout performances?
Well, I think I agree with Rona, but I think also, do you remember, Rona, the baptism service we sang at?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Do you remember the baptism service we sang at? That was amazing. I don't think the people who could quite cope with Emily, if I can be honest, you know, because Emily's very sort of outgoing and everything, and she was truly to the form. It was amazing, you know, and the way I thought we'd sang really well, to be honest, at that baptism service, and I think we really opened up quite a few people's eyes, you know, by the way, different ways your faith can be conveyed, etc. I think they came, without being funny, to this traditional service, and then suddenly there was Emily Bollon sort of introducing and going, yeah. But I really enjoyed that, and we got people joining in as well. So yes.
I think I remember there was a crew of like young guys, like lads, and I'm like, come on, everyone, lean forwards,
forwards and backwards and left and right and up and down.
Up, down.
So good. I completely forgot that. That was awesome. Yeah, absolutely
Amazing. Oh, honestly, like just from hearing you guys, and actually I had the pleasure of joining you for one of the rehearsals last year, but you clearly have so much fun as a choir and what you've done, and even with everything with Dermot, I think that community aspect and you guys coming together and being stronger through everything that happened is incredible. And that's just an example of that trust you put in Emily to deliver a choir for you, but also in each other and building those relationships and being able to support each other. It's just incredible. So before you were both a part of this choir, would you have said there's anything that you would have said, now I'll never do that, like no, and then you jump into a choir? How about you, Annie?
I think there's two things for me. Number one is come on a live chat.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done.
I never would have come on a live chat. I'm not exactly shy, quiet and retiring, but I don't know whether I would have come on a live chat before. But I think the other thing is Emily's church sort of orchestrated, was it 2 Christmas choirs I did, Emily?
Yeah, I think so.
And they were just really sort of good, really good, sort of pulling lots of different people together. And I really enjoyed those. And I would not have done that.
Yeah.
You know, and I had to make sort of special provisions sort of for sorting my dad out for the Sunday and my mum, and because it was on Sunday afternoon performances. But it was meant to happen, and Dad was always really keen that I did things for me. And so, you know, it was really special. And I really enjoyed both the when we did the performances at your church, Emily. They were really good.
Yeah. Shout out to Pastor Charlie for
Pastor Charlie, we love you.
putting that all together. That was
Love
awesome.
you, Charlie. And what about you, Rona? Is there anything before this you would have been like, I'm not sure?
Definitely, I've always loved singing. As I said, it was part of my childhood. But I don't have any confidence in my singing voice at all. I think Emily would probably be able to say every single thing I've ever sent her, I've written, this is awful, or this is rubbish, or this is terrible, or whatever. However, I don't know if you even know this, Emily. Last Christmas, last Advent, I was preaching a sermon, and it was I think it was first Advent, and I was talking about Emmanuel coming and what it was like waiting. And at the 8 o'clock and the 10 o'clock services, I was halfway through my sermon, and I just suddenly stopped and I sang the first verse of O come, Emmanuel, just really slowly to a full church in my communion. I never would have done that before.
Wow.
I just sang it, so it's like, oh my goodness, I could do that.
That's amazing. I love
Everything you guys keep saying makes me want to burst into tears.
Oh.
Amazing. That's so amazing. I love that. There is something really special, like for me, from my experience, because I grew up in a Catholic church, but obviously everything's online at the moment. But when priests or vicars or pastors sing parts of, of the mass or service, it is incredibly, like, there is something about it that really stands out to me. So I bet the people who were present in those moments, that was a really, it was a big moment for you, but it probably was really big for them as well. Because I've always found that an incredible moment for me.
Oh, thank you. It just felt okay, and my voice didn't break or anything, so I felt
You probably touched a lot of people, Rona.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, maybe you'll have to sign some autographs at some point. Rev Rona, that's it.
Yes,
Rocking Rev Rona.
Very cool.
Actually, I'm going to change my name.
Yes. Love it.
I shall do it.
So obviously, all of the choirs, we spoke with Lorraine and Jean from Woking Community Choir, who, after like 1 month, I can't remember, was it 1 month, Lucy? We then went into lockdown. So they had just started and then went straight into being a virtual choir, like madness. And for MbM Gospel Choir, they've been running for years and years. So then that was quite a big change to, well, suddenly everything's really different. For Merrow, Merrow has actually been hit the hardest when it's come to the pandemic and moving online. You know, we had I don't know, probably over 50 people on our regular registers that were coming along. We'd have about 30 joining us on a Monday night, and then just like that, we went to about 10 of us, maybe 11, 10 of us. And I've personally found it, you know, initially like, oh no, like so many people are either just not up for doing it online, or have taken the, you know, when a change happens, they just take the opportunity to try something different, or whatever it might be. But yeah, it kind of really hit us. Now, I think we've developed a really deep community with that group. And you'll see, I don't know where to look at the camera, you'll see in the virtual Christmas concert, it's amazing. They have done such a good job. We're a tighter community. They create a beautiful sound together. But why do you think it is that our choir specifically had been so hit by moving online and by the pandemic? Rona, any thoughts on why do you think that happened?
I don't really have any thoughts, as in, I don't know why. It's just felt really sad, and some of the people that haven't turned up, I just don't understand. You know, some of the people, obviously I won't name them, but some of the people, it's like, why is that person not turning up? I don't know. I think coming together for us physically was just so much more than the singing.
Yeah.
And I think the singing was the glue that held us together, but somehow that doesn't work for us as a community choir. I just don't know. I'm thrilled we've got that core, but I don't know. I'm sorry, that's not very formulated answer, but I just don't know. I've puzzled it.
Yeah, well, I think I agree with you with the, you know, maybe there were a lot of people within that local community that they weren't really there for the singing. They were there for the community, for the chats afterwards, for feeling like they're doing something with people. And maybe some haven't maybe realized that moving online has not taken that away. Obviously, we can't hug each other, but the community, the getting to know each other, the really connecting with people is still there, like in a really beautiful way. In some ways more, because instead of sitting in a hall looking at me for an hour, we're sitting in our homes, looking at each other on Zoom. You can see everyone's faces and you can interact with everyone at the same time. So maybe, yeah, people haven't really realized that community isn't lost by going online. Annie, any thoughts? Yeah, why do you think Merrow specifically has been hit quite a lot by the pandemic?
I agree, you know, with what has been said. I personally, anyone out there, I really missed the other members, because I wasn't sure initially whether I would like participating in a choir virtually, but I said to a friend last week, I feel quite privileged being a member of a virtual choir. I never thought I'd say that. And it is very different. You know, we do such fun things like fun warm-up sessions, which is highly, you know, entertaining. My dog comes along and helps, and he might come and bark in the background, and he looks at me and says, you know, what's this crazy thing Emily's doing you now? And we're doing lots of different things, and we sort of do perhaps getting to know you activity, which was great fun. Each member, and sort of Emily, we had to submit something and we had to answer questions, and it was amazing. It was such fun getting to know some of the other members, and we've gone into a couple of breakout groups and sort of we've done quizzes. You know, Emily comes up with these amazing quizzes, you know, which is such fun, and makes it in a way more community, as Emily says, than it was before. Yes, we met some people stayed for tea and coffee afterwards, but it's very different. It's much more inclusive, I'd say, from that perspective now. You know, we do harmony specific sessions, we learn new songs. And also, I think the way Emily trains us and is teaching us, it's almost like having a private group lesson with a small class. And I think we're very privileged. And then it comes to when Merrill's first, this is quite entertaining, Merrill's first virtual community gospel choir concert. Okay, initially I look at the email and I think, nay, no way. Do you know why, folks? Because Emily is very much, she's a very good teacher, don't get me wrong, but she's very strict. Okay, so her email starts, a list of 4 starting, you must. So Annie looked at them thinking, oh my giddy godfathers. And the first one includes, sing your part confidently. Well, don't know about you, Rona, but that was like, no, forget that. That's me out the equation. But I did bite the bullet, and I did my first ever sort of recording and things. It was like, oh my life. And you learn from your mistakes. And I don't like watching myself recording on a video, I have to say. Yep. Singing is not too bad. I have to make sure the dog's away, because otherwise he likes to join in and thinks it's a game. But yes, it's quite interesting. So anyone out there, I'd say definitely think about joining. But yeah, Emily, I'd just like to say thank you for giving me, what shall I say, such joy, such hope and encouragement. It's meant so much to me, this virtual choir.
Oh, that is awesome. And hey, you are a recording artist. You're an artiste, which is incredible. You know, when we were in person and say I'd ask for a soloist, like, who wants to sing this? It's like, no. But on Zoom, you know, people unmute and go, la, 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 you know, and sing to each other. And then, hey, all of them go home, record their voice, record their face, and send it in to me to be a part of the performance. Like, you know, I think when we get back together, hey, I'm going to have difficulty picking a soloist with all of you lot. You're like, I'll do it. Be awesome. Yeah, it's amazing. So thank you so much for coming along on that journey, stepping really far out of your comfort zones, because what we've achieved together, and I love that you said the joy that it gives you, Annie. Right? Little teaser maybe for the virtual concert. But yeah, the performance from this choir is amazing, really heartwarming, really uplifting, and I think people are going to love it.
Oh yes, I'm so excited. Hasn't revealed it yet, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So finally, just wanted to end on Rona. So obviously at the start you had like an initial vision of what you hoped the choir would be, and you met I think it was with Em and Dermot after you'd kind of launched the choir, and would you say that you actually, your dreams and your vision of what you wanted this choir to be, did they get fulfilled?
We blew it out of the park completely, all the way up. It was just amazing, and that was something that Dermot really knew. So we loved that. We just loved that. He used to give me a high five and say, look what we did. So that was great. I think so much more than we anticipated. For me, one of the things that's happened is it's given me, one of the things I love most about ministry is being able to just kind of walk alongside people when they're going through tough times, or when they need support or whatever, but as a kind of Christian, pastoral critical friend, and not critical friend, pastoral friend. And the opportunities that have arisen from that have been from choir have been so much greater. I know Annie's dad really well now, and he's just an absolute delight. I know so many people in the community who've had, bereavements, who've had illnesses or whatever, and have actually felt they could contact me. That's so much more amazing than we thought it would be. We thought, let's come together and have a bit of fun. But wow, let's make this stuff relevant, because it is. Yeah. God's love is there for everybody, and I think that's such a greater vision than we'd ever had. It's like God said, I take your little vision and I throw it away. Let me show you what I can do. So yeah, I think it's been incredible.
I remember at one of our concerts, this lady came up to me, and I didn't recognize her, but she spoke to me like she knew me, and she came over and she was just in floods, and she was like, the impact of this choir, of what it's had on my daughter, is phenomenal, and blah blah blah, and she was saying all of this, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is amazing. This isn't even one of our choir members, it's a mum of a choir member. And then the said choir member came over and went, "Mother, you're embarrassing me." And it was so funny. It was so funny. You know who you are, choir member.
You do.
It was a really, for me, I just had chills all over my body of like, you know, one person being impacted, whatever their story and their journey is, and then that having an impact on family members, friends, communities, where they live, I think is, yeah, as you're saying, you know, we have this vision, but God has such a greater vision than we could ever even think of or imagine. And it's a real privilege to be partnering with you, Rona, and a massive thank you to St. John's for all of that support. It was, for me, that was a really powerful thing, to be able to partner with you and to impact a side of Guildford that I had never really ventured into before, after living in Guildford for, you know, over 10 years. I'd never really ventured over there. So when I got on my bike that day and cycled over, I was like, oh, I've never been this far. And I didn't realize how long that road was. But, really amazing. So thank you so much to you and all of the team for that. And
Thank you.
and my love goes to Dermot. I will always remember him singing on his little iPad behind me in that concert. It was a really beautiful memory. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you both so much. I think,
Thank you.
just me and him got so much out of that, but I hope for everybody who's watching, yeah, that was just so wonderful, not only to hear your individual journeys, but also the choir and how it's changed and transformed over this time. And I just hope, you know, it goes from strength to strength. And yes, when we do get to the point, hopefully, where we're meeting in person again, you know, there will be another surge, there will be those opportunities to continue to grow your amazing community. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Give us a like, give us a share. all of that jazz.
All of that jazz. Lovely. So we're going to say goodbye to Facebook first. Thank you so much for joining us. Lucy, have we got another MbM live chats coming up anytime soon?
We do. We have another one with our Topic of Cancer choir members on Monday, the 30th.
That's Monday.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my diary.
Yeah, we got two. So the choir Talk Voices, we've got two lovely members from that choir joining us on Monday at 6 p.m. on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Fantastic. Rona, Annie, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you.
Facebook. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.